Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, my Impact fam. Welcome to episode 92, holy lord, of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Geoff. We got a lot to talk about, so no matter how you're consuming this, I want to start off by saying that no matter how you're consuming this, if you're watching live right now, twitch.tv/TNAIW channel every Sunday, live 8 p.m. Eastern, or if you're watching this on YouTube right thereafter, 10 p.m., no matter if you watch this now or 3 weeks later, we love you, we thank you. We are in the top 3. The last episode is in our top 3 all time. Everything we do here is because of you guys. We love you. We thank you. One fan at a time, one friend at a time. And we really mean that. Look at the numbers there. I mean, besides for Twitter, where IO's killing it. Shout out to IO, by the way. We're rocking, we're rolling. And Impact is doing the same for a time that seems to have a little bit of wrestling news. There's a lot going on in the world of Impact Wrestling, one reason or another. So we have a lot to talk about with that. We'll obviously hit up the YouTube comments, the power rankings, see where they lie. We'll go over Impact on Access TV, talk about a few hot topics, and then going to give you a little sneak peek of Max's return to the show. I'll get you, we'll slide over there at the very end, go to the Impact Zone. Yeah, very clever, right? No. It's all right. It's all fun. That's what this is. This is all nonsense, all a good time. If you're checking us out for the first time, make sure you hit subscribe, follow, all that jazz. But I don't want to talk any more about us. I want to talk about Impact Wrestling. So let's go into that. Let's get right into it. Hey, Datila, what's going on, buddy? Oh yeah, and shout out to all the YouTube comments. As I always say, we're about to hit up YouTube comments and the chat as well as that I try to hit up during the show. It takes a lot of you-know-what to come out of your shell, write whatever question, comment, concern you have regarding us, Impact, or whatever in between. What's going on, Millard? What's up, my buddy? Long time no see, it feels like. But whatever you guys do, whatever you put out there, whatever comment or text you give us, DM, we appreciate it. As I was saying, it takes a lot for it to get for you to put it out there, get critiqued live on air, and the possibility of someone shitting on it. So we love you guys. Before we get into YouTube comments, I want to give you that disclaimer. As I always say, you guys are the lifeblood of the show between the comments and the chat. We thank you. We love you. Let's get right into it. All right. Oh, no. Like I was saying, Parkside 7, anytime you watch the show, anytime you consume it, if you stop a week, if you go 3 weeks in between, as long as you come back and say hello, we're happy, or it's all good. We don't do this for the numbers. We appreciate them. It's just like the Nielsen ratings, but all right, let's get into this. All right, here we go. Metal Lazy 25. Any relation to 99? We'll see. All right, glad the Ultimate X match is back. That should be sick. I agree. Let's get into that. I think Gisele Shaw should have been in the Queen of the Mountain match since she lost the tag title match. I think being in the ring with the top knockouts would only help Gisele improve more. Yeah. I mean, it's a good point. One, I want to, obviously say the Ultimate X match we're going to talk about that, obviously, when we get into Ace, when we get into Impact, and Kenny King taking the win there. It's a staple of Impact Wrestling. I saw some comments of it being overdone. I just feel like even if you had one yesterday, Ultimate X is not only an awesome game changer of a match, because you really don't know what you get, right? You could get something really good. You could get something really dangerous. You could get something historic. You don't know, but either way, it's going to be fun one way or another. Either talk about it or talk about it afterwards or watch it. So it's always a good time. The Queen of the Mountain match with Gisele, I understand wanting to put her with some ring vets and get her that way, but I think the tag division's really smart in what they're doing. I know everyone was iffy about Divalish, love the name. I don't know if they're together. I don't know if that's going to be the thing. We'll get into that and how the commentating team really set the tone for what that relationship may or may not be. But as far as Gisele, I think she's one of those people that you invest in, right, long term. And I know there's a comment Well, actually, let me get right into that as well, because they kind of blend into each other. Darker Side's 22. What's going on, my friend? I've really liked how Shaw has looked, and as much as I like Mia, I'd rather promote Shaw as their next big star instead of somebody that could just be auditioning for AEW. Just saying. Yeah, no, normally you know how I am about that, but I appreciate your attempt at wording it kindly. No, it's a fair point. The thing is the same with Gisele. Say she signed for 2 years. Is that year and 6 months of hot-shotting her and giving her the push right away, and then her booking it in that extra time frame, or Mia doing the same in 6 months? Once again, with Mia, I feel like this is her home. She said it's her home. If we take care of her and let her shine the way she only can, with very little help needed, I think she'll make a decision on her own. And if she doesn't, hey, it was good to have her back. I get the point, but we have to decipher what kind of contract will you guys eventually say, okay, we can invest in them. They're here for longer than X. So that's what you got to really figure out. Is the TV product the best TV product out there? Is that what you guys care about, or do you care about the length of someone on there? I know that's always something we talk about. We'll get into that, and that's why we dedicated a whole segment in Max's return dedicated to that topic. But with Gisele, I think the knockouts, you have a few different ways. You could give them the Masha push, right? They come in, they face some local talent, they destroy them, you build them up that way. You could give them the newbie feud, which is what I think the newbie feud with Gisele and Lady Frost. They kind of had that, and that back and forth, and then it kind of went into this direction with Alisha, which I think this is a perfect division for Alisha. We don't want her, as much as you guys complain about the acting or whatever. Look, she's got a personality. She's over with, most of the fan base. She's a quality person from what we've seen and heard. I think she's a valued part of the locker room, and to have some people, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm about to get to as well, with Gisele starting off or sticking within and building that Knockouts tag division that you guys keep complaining about. Now, I saw a comment that was deleted, maybe because I responded to it, but that said something along the lines of, why waste them getting together only to have them lose right away? Because I don't think Gisele's finished. The end game is with Divalish, and maybe it is that combination, but maybe they needed a little boost, maybe a managerial, some help. So let's be patient with that. Let's see what happens there. But as far as Gisele, I think giving her the time to mix it with some veterans like Madison Rayne, who once again is a staple of this division, who I think, and especially after these last chain of matches, really is setting the tone for the quality of wrestling that she wants in that tag division. So we got to be patient with that. And I'm still waiting. I challenge you. You guys only come back when something what you perceive as negative happens with the tag, Knockouts tag. Waiting for it to fail is weird to me, by the way. But two, no one ever came back when I said, hey, you guys kept saying we should wait on the tag division. Tony was literally ripping us off right beforehand. WWE was bringing back theirs through the NXT and so on. The fans were saying, why not now? Why not now? And then now that we got it, we wanted to wait for depth. But I challenged you, and I'm still waiting for someone to give me the four, we'll say, women's tag teams that have been established that you can name off the top of your head in the existence of wrestling profession. I don't think you can. Because it is a new thing, and with the Digital Media Championship, you need to build it. Is it the way you want it to be built? Maybe not. It's going to take some bumps and bruises, but we'll get to the end game is all the same, right? All right. Well, let's keep going on here. Metal Lazy 25 again. How do you determine who is a draw and Impact and is based on rating, shirt sales, live event pay-per-views? So this is obviously, I think, Metal Lazy, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure you will. This is in regards to the comment I said about Willie Mack and loving Willie Mack, but you got to figure out, through Impact, and that's the answer I have. I would imagine a business has some kind of formula or at least numbers that they look at, a draw sheet that they look at to say, okay, what is this person's worth to us, and what have they brought to the table since being here? Love Willie. You'll see when we talk about the Impact Zone, the segment with Max, that will be every week, 15, 20 minutes at the end of the show, where we'll get into free agency and what we think everyone should be graded on. Is the person good on the mic? Does the person have character development already in place where you don't have to invest a lot of writing and team into building and getting something out of a wrestler? What is their value? What is their ticket sale, or not ticket sales? What does their merch sales look like? What do their Twitter and social media following look like? All those little big things that really add to the. Is it ratings? No, I think Nielsen ratings. I know the Nielsen ratings are a dying system. I've said that since day one. The Nielsen ratings matter to me, just like the numbers here. Do I want bigger numbers for Impact? Yes. Do I want bigger numbers here? Sure. But at the same time, that's just an added bonus. Still on my TV, it's still making a profit. Just because Impact doesn't gloat the numbers doesn't mean they don't have them, but it also doesn't mean that they're crushing it. And at some point you have to, what matters to you, right? Is it how the company's doing or the product that they're putting on in front of you and how you perceive it? So, but in regards to that, yeah, we'll get into that, into that deeper. But I think with Impact, they have to be smart. They can't throw or retain someone for the same big money they brought him in on, or that the person wants, just because they've been there and we want to keep pieces that have been there a while. You gotta balance out. You gotta weigh it out. There's Chris Rock, by the way. But yeah, there's more. We'll get into that. It's a great question, and we'll talk about that later as well. Off the Top Ropes podcast. What's going on, guys? Under Siege was greater than Backlash 100. To each their own. To each their own. But I did not see Backlash, so I cannot say. But I'll take your word. All right. So once again, if you guys have any YouTube comments, hit us in there. Fade to Bland 20, you had one as well. We'll be hitting that actually in a hot topic, so thank you for that. But as I always say, I'll read anything you guys put as long as you come out kind. And I'll read them. Once again, I'm not looking for people to agree with me all the time. I'm looking for us all to have the same end game. And that end game is having a positive community with Impact Wrestling, killing it in whatever way you want it to go. All right, so before we get an Impact on Access TV, I already mentioned Datila, who's in there. Her partner in crime, Bert. You could catch them every Monday for our extended Power Rankings, GoGoPowerRankings, which talks about the stats, the really cool thing on percentage average, the average position, all that jazz. Here it is. Check it out.
Number 10, Sami Callihan. Number 9, Tag Team Champions, The Briscoes. Number 8, Tag Team Champions, The Influence. Number 7, The Stone Pitbull, Ishii. Number 6, Chris Sabin. Number 5, X Division Champion, Ace Austin. Number 4, Kenny King and Honor No More. Number 3, World Champion, Tasha Steeles. Number 2, number 1 contender, VBD's Eric Young. Number 1, World Champion, Josh Alexander.
All right, guys, what do you think? I know the GoGoPowerRankings team will be happy. Ishii is making it up his way up there. Obviously, what was almost a 5-star match, according to Meltzer. Coming off of that, and then on top of that, having another tag match. And just killing it, man. Killing it. Love to see that New Japan influence there. Do you guys agree? Once again, if you don't agree, you can write us at TNAIWChannel or at Bert Macklin 11. DM us, jump in there. Literally, all you have to do is rank 1 through 10. Right after the show, before Saturday, 5 p.m. So hit us up one way or another, and you guys can make a difference there. And let's get right into... Well, actually, you know what? I do want to mention... So with that, the influence finally getting on there. I know I always back up the tag division and tell you to give it time, but I really think they're establishing something there, man. I know they're heels and everyone doesn't want to see them, or they don't want to see them, not because they're heels, because they don't want to see them. But I think you need to kind of buy in and establish a team there that is the place setter, and I think that's them. Will we keep adding more? Yes. Decay, maybe. Yes, of course, Savannah and Tasha, whoever Gisele ends up with. I think you keep bringing people in that way, and it'll only get better. But I'm glad to see they're getting some love there, and they're not in the 10th position or something crazy, because they are tag team champions. Let's put some respect on the name there. All right. Let's keep going here. Let's get right into Impact on Access TV, the rundown. Man, a lot in this show. Obviously, let's start with BTI as we always do. And I always preach this. Look, before I would say I would never watch BTI because as an Impact fan, you would be watching a recap of the previous week. But if you're not an avid fan, so this is out to the casual fan there, and then also to the avid fan. The chemistry, I feel like no matter what you think about Josh, let me say that first. What you think about Josh fits. Like, this is exactly where he should be. His chemistry with Gia is great, and you know how I feel about Gia being, a name. We've went through a lot of backstage personalities throughout the years, and there's only about 5 that you can really, on one hand, count that have the personality to go with the interview. And what I mean by that is people can ask a question all day, but you also want to look at Gia and see what her reaction to that person's reaction from her question is as well. And that's, I know it sounds silly and I know it sounds small, but in something like this where they're not pushing her and she gets over on her own like that by her mannerisms, by her actions, by what she says and how she reacts, and her passion, you could tell, for Impact Wrestling. So shout out to her. But I love the chemistry there. So I always say check that out. Iceman Intel, on the other hand, Iceman, man, I gave him shit the previous week because he got the titles wrong, what Deanna had left. Why they aired that, I do not know. But yeah, he's back telling us the sky is blue. I don't know. Maybe he'll be the new press secretary for whoever becomes president. But we get the awesome match. You always get one dope match to make you watch, right? Ace Austin versus Aiden Prince was this one. Good to see Aiden Prince back on a routine here basis. Love that he's rocking the Canadian thing. Keeping my hope alive. Any more Canadians, the better. Keeping my hope alive for Team Canada. So good to see him back, and obviously he can go. Looking like he came off straight off the set of Wedding Crashers 2 or something. Jesus, that haircut. But Ace Austin doing what he does here, man. Love Ace Austin. Critical Sting, hello, buddy. Also, shout out to Ace Austin, still rocking it 5 and above since he became X Division champion, rightfully deserved, representing us right now in the best of the Super J, which is dope, man. I can't say enough about that. That was going to be a whole topic, but I'm going to actually go a little in depth on Ace here, because look, there was a comment as well, and I responded, and it was deleted, so I didn't get a screenshot in time. Couldn't even tell you who wrote it. But they're saying, and I don't mean this with any disrespect here, but I don't know if you watch Ace's matches from the beginning of Impact or even now, and say that he doesn't do enough. It didn't say he did enough in a ring, but it was basically saying that, he doesn't do enough flips and dives and all that stuff. I'm sorry. I can't do a Fosbury flop. If you can, then God bless you. But I get what you're saying in the sense that if this kid was going to be a X Division guy for the rest. Look, AJ started with all the flips and moves and dives and all that stuff, and he learned. It took him a little bit longer than it has taken Ace. But at a certain point, you have to tell a story, okay? It's not a video game car crash. Sometimes you want to give the fans, get that cheap pop, but I think there's a beautiful way of telling a story that you can take your time, let each move mean something, keep adding to your repertoire. And I want to say that too. Shout out to Trey as well, because him and Ace, I always say, are two of our best prospects we've had in a while. Ace, for instance, I always say is the best prospect we've had since AJ Styles. I don't need an award. I'm not looking for an award. What my award will be is the fact that Ace Austin is the best prospect we've had since AJ Styles. I don't care about the rub. I care about the result. And the fact that Ace is living up to that expectation for me. He's in the best of the Super J, right? I think he's the first one since Jimmy Rave. All love to Jimmy Rave. To represent Impact, if I'm not mistaken. His finisher, that was another part of the person's comment, that they don't think he could hit his finisher on bigger wrestlers. Well, his move's the fold. So there's that. But I don't know, man. I just feel like this kid is, by August especially, might be moving up towards that world heavyweight or world championship title. Now, does that mean he needs to win it? No. But a guy who just got his first 2 points in victory over Clark Connors in the BOSJ, representing us in there, holding our X Division title, and then re-signing with us and proving he can be that next AJ, which is constant development, constant growth. T. Hughes right there saying exactly. Flips are okay, but that current style means career can last longer. And if this guy is our prospect, now AJ obviously is a freak athlete and a once in a lifetime a talent, but he stayed with us for the long haul. Well, for the most part, and he worked his way up and he collected titles and he set the precedence for what Impact should be. And I think AJ or Ace can do that, especially if he sticks around. So it's good to see him around, and I hope you guys warm up to him, because I think you're really missing stuff here if you're just hoping on more flips and dives and stuff. Even though he does those as well. Oh, shout out, by the way, adding to the repertoire. That's what I was getting back. Adding to his treasure chest of moves. And Trey as well as what I was mentioning, was he busted out a mid-rope backbreaker, Roddy Strong-like. So that was cool to see some vintage Roddy-like stuff there from Ace as well. So always adding to his style. All right, now getting to Impact on Access TV. We start off with expanding the set. Tom and Matt in the ring, hyping up Gauntlet for the gold, doing some promo work there, which you guys know is the way to my heart. Build it up, build it up. Especially with the 20-year library, it's not that hard to do. And I really believe Tom specifically, but Matt as well, have done a very, very good job. And I continuously say this, and I keep seeing more tweets about it, and I will always retweet it if you tweet it. The knowledge this guy, the professor-like knowledge that this guy is throwing out there weekly to make every feud, every title match, every stipulation match. That's another important one. A stipulation match seem important, and for all of us to know the history. If you're a day oneer like myself, or you're a day whatever we're on now, just started, you get a lesson learned right there from the get. So I cannot say enough about our commentating team. And before we do that, I actually want to hit that up so I can stop dodging the damn poll that I put there. I'm going to put this out after every show, Io or myself, a poll just to see what you guys thought, what your point of view was, from 5 stars down to 2 thumbs up. What did you think of this Impact on Access TV episode? 46% going with 5 stars, 31% going with 4 flames, so 4, 8% with 3 zombies, and 2 thumbs up, 15%. So a little bit up there. 46 obviously taking it, but we need more votes to make it reasonable. So let's make sure we keep that up, and I'll make sure you guys feature there. And if you tag or write yourself in the comment or of the tweet, I will shout you guys out for participating. All right, so next up, we go right into this, and once again, Impact booking. I really love what they're doing here when it comes to transitions. You had them in the ring. They talked about this. They talked about the Gauntlet of Gold, and then Honor No More comes out, interrupting them. And just we have those natural, in front of us, organic transitions compared to forced edits and cut and stop, which I'll get to one of those in a moment. I swear to. All right. But what I love about Honor No More, there's a couple things, obviously. One, a lot of them are Impact talent. Yes, ROH as well. But they have some kind of history here, for the most part, outside of Vincent and Taman. And they'll build their own. It seems that way. But what I love about it is they come out, and the music plays, and you don't know who's coming out first, right? But every person in that group gets to establish themselves as individuals during that entrance, on top of being a group that's band together for one reason or another. So I love it for that reason. 2, we talk about depth. We talk about depth. We talk about depth. And we'll talk more about it at topic 5. But when you look at this team and you say, people that we need to keep around, top to bottom of that group, you have a group of talent that can literally hit up every division and then twist it and be in a different division. Okay. IO as well, thank you. Have quite the fan base. They do. This is what I talk about when you're, and I hate to use this as a reference, but when you're bringing up, well, I won't, but I bring up ex-wrestler compared to this, a Matt Taven, a Kenny King, Mike and Maria, Vincent, PC, whoever it is, the Briscoes. You bring in these people that already have a fan base, that already have an established relationship with the viewing audience or outside viewing audience. That's less legwork the Impact Creative has to do. Do they have to sprinkle them in, get them familiar with the team, show off what a lot of people already know about them, including Taven, who could be a future world champion? Yes, I agree, Parkside. Yeah, you got to do that. But that's a hell of a lot less work than pulling the hell out of a promo out of someone or having to slap a gimmick on someone just to get something out of them. So not only do they have that, but when this group eventually runs its course and it eventually implodes, and hopefully, I know there's wood, they stick around. You have Matt Taven, who's a former world champion. You have Kenny King, who's a X Division champion 2-time in our company, going for a 3rd time at Slammiversary. And who is a multi-time tag team champion as well with All Night Express, amongst others. You have Bennett, who is a former X Division champion and grand champion. And Maria, who, them alone, that packaging, they were the Miracle Team, right? What happens when this is gone and that music hits and Mike and Maria go right back to that old gimmick, right? I'm not saying it would happen. I'm just saying there's so much depth within this group, and we sleep on the depth in which we have. And that's why I love like the Queen of the Mountain, which I'll get to, as well as the Gauntlet for the Gold. Well, what's the point, right? All these people, I wish they would have established a champion quickly. Well, with the amount of tapings we have and the way it worked out, yeah, of course we love that. But we can all agree that our world championship depth or development isn't to the standard of what we can say just, hey, here you go, Josh, line up, and here's your guys, right? We don't have that right now. We don't have the luxury of that. But what we have the luxury is quality over quantity. And then when you put that quantity in front of everybody and remind them what kind of quality we have, it's like, oh, shit. Okay. So that Gauntlet for the Gold was amazing for that reason. But I digress. Let me keep going on here. Next up, we had Kenny King, facing Chris Bay there, mentor versus student, teacher versus student, mentee, mentor, whatever. And Kenny King picking up the win here. Bullet Club kind of on a decline. Is there a reason for that? Is the Good Brothers contract part of that? We'll play around with that in a little bit. But Bullet Club taking another L here, and Kenny King with Maria's help, moving on, but still going to Ultimate X at Slammiversary. Next, we get Alisha backstage trying to summon Gisele. What I really love here, again, with the commentating team is everyone's like, why are they together? I don't believe in them. And rightfully so. Do they have a chance? Why did they get the shot now? Because if you listen to the commentating team, these girls don't really have much in common. They really don't might like each other. They really haven't been tagging for a while. I don't even know if this will last. They're giving you every little thing you need to know to put that doubt in your head of, oh, wait, maybe this isn't the end game. Maybe there's a reason they're losing on first title, shot. Maybe there's a reason that the tag team who has held those belts consistently, reigning and defending, are beating them in a pretty, I will say, competitive match. I just think when you have a commentating team like that, especially with Tom, saying those little nuances about, the position in which they are, if they should, be together, if their group is really formed yet. And then when they finally hit a tag team, he's hyped. It's all about the whole product, the entire production, right? All right. But yeah, then we get that match right after. Obviously, Influence picking up the win there, retaining the titles. We'll see what happens next. VBD backstage, cutting a promo, telling stories. Gail Kim is now in the ring telling her story, and the story of Queen of the Mountain. Perfect timing, YouTube. Thank you. Queen of the Mountain, which will be a segment that kind of... So I was really confused. Now I see that graphic. Now I know I'm super confused. I guess because Chelsea's on her honeymoon, Taya kind of stepped in here to even the odds. That makes sense. But what we had was Gail Kim announcing the participants, which would be Tasha obviously defending against, now we know, Deonna, Chelsea, Mia, and Jordan. Man, not only is this history, history setting, not only have we been waiting for some form of the King of the Mountain match, or Queen of the Mountain in this instance. Look, I know everyone's quick joke when LOL TNA was, the big thing was, oh, who even knows the rules? Me. I know the rules. They're really simple, and if you really wanted to learn them, I could teach you in about a minute. Okay, it's not that over convoluted match that everyone likes to make it seem. It's fun. It's entertaining. It once again expands the galaxy, if you want to call it that, or expands the arena to give these women more opportunities and things to work with. Obviously a penalty box, the belt, the ladder. It's going to be fun. Let's just enjoy it. I'm glad to see a lot of people here in the chat. Yes, Queen of the Mountain. Yes, cool. We're all on the same page. The other thing I have written down for this one, I'm glad Tasha's coming in, getting back to coming into her own of her character, being back to what I think Tasha is, more of a like lie, cheat, steal, not on a boo-boo kind of character. Nose rings falling out as I say that. But like that there, it's a shame she'll probably lose this match, but at least it's a great way to do it. And if she retains it, so be it. They need to keep building her up, but we'll see where that goes. Love the Savannah line there, that she was going to be the next person. The note I have written down here for this was, I know we talk about depth, but if these 6 women that were just in the ring, obviously excluding Gail, if this is all we had for the Knockouts division, I would be happy. Quality over quantity. But the fact that we have another 6, if not more, of, nearly the same quality or slightly, Taya's not even in this match. And I could go on and get, Gisele, who we already mentioned, maybe, some of you thought she could be. Masha, Lady Frost. We're deep. We're deep. So it was cool to see there. Next up, Rich was cutting a focused promo. I love focused Rich. I love him coming out to the music. Love Willie, of course, but I love that Rich is going to get a chance to shine. I've been hoping that this led to a DMC title match. My hope for the DMC title, once again, everyone's like, oh, you think it's great? No, I don't think it's great. And I don't think it's great that he's not defending it as much. At the same time, when we look back another 20 years and we say, oh, Matt Cardona held this belt for 6 months, who's really going to give a shit besides maybe crotchety old me, who eventually will say, well, he only defended it 3 times. Okay, we're building a lineage. It's going to take time. You're going to want to put this belt. That's all that matters, is who they put this belt on and what that person then does with it, right? Cardona's a heel right now. He's not defending it much. That's fine. But that name after Jordan Grace will be Matt Cardona. And I think after that, either it could be Rich Swann, Morrissey, depending on where you look. It's about building lineage. That's what they got wrong about the Grand Championship. They took that belt away because of the stipulation and what it was created. But look at the lineage of it. Okay, Aaron Rex, but look who's in there. Galloway, Moose, right? Bennett. I'm missing a lot, but it's about lineage for me. You can change stipulations. You can't change lineage overnight. So let's keep at it. Let's not scrap it and start over. Plus, it's a pretty cool looking belt. All right, so glad to see Rich there. Bullet Club intro cut. So here's the thing about Bullet Club. I don't know anything. I don't know if they're going. We're non-spoilers here. We always say transparent, unbiased, Impact fans, and no spoilers allowed. So I know there's stuff that happened that can answer what I'm about to say, but please, I refrain from you. Please don't write in the chat there. So we don't know what's going on with the Bullet Club, right? But we know that their intro was cut when we came back from commercial. And then from there, look, I love the Bullet Club, but it's nice to know that we have 88 minutes of television, and we can't fit in the beginning of a Bullet Club entrance. You know, shout out to Bay, by the way, who got his own Tron and back to his old music, which I missed. So yeah, and then from there, and I don't know if it's just me, if it's my internet connection, it's quite possible. Was this match in a 1.5 play? Does anyone know what that means? If you know what I mean, let me know, because it looked like production was trying to speed it up, not to make the match faster, but I've noticed it a few times, either to fit in the time frame or they're just trying to make it look video. I don't know, but let me know. Either way, production, shame on you if you do that. I don't want to see that shit. Well, anyways, Bullet Club versus Josh and Ishii. Josh and Ishii picking up the win here. Josh looking like the world champion. I love that they put this on right before Gauntlet for the Gold. Let you know still who's relevant for it within that title picture, who's still our world champion, and then now you find out who's all fighting to face that world champion. Love the timing there with that. Next up, Briscoes are magnetized and they attract belts. Look, if there's anything close to a Steiner promo, it is Bennett didn't win the Grand? No, my bad. I thought he faced for it? Someone did. I'm missing someone. I thought Eddie and him faced each other. Anyways, you noticed the play as well. All right. Sorry to the audio crowd where I'm rumbling back and forth with the chat group here. Just trying to figure out a few things. My bad if Bennett didn't win it. I thought he had. I'm guessing I'm just thinking of X and then he cashed that in maybe. Or he was going for it. All right. Either way, he should have. Right. Anyways, if there's anything close to a Steiner promo, it's a Briscoe promo. So I always enjoy that. Next up, we get the New Japan plugs, which is good because everyone's trying to cause a riff. What I noticed, by the way, about ratings, I want to tell you that my Nielsen end all be all watchers out there. Something I noticed on the inside here. I don't know why wrestling hasn't caught up. But I received some news that even Nielsen doesn't really care about the 19 to 49 anymore. They moved it up to 25 and 54. Once again, who has the money in this country? It's not the 19-year-olds, guys. All right. Anyways, so then we have Gauntlet for the Gold. You had Saban entering one, which just hey, Herbie Herbs, welcome back, buddy. It's good to see Saban entering first. I feel like he always should be entering first. It just feels right. Something about it. This is his fourth. Once again, knowledge being dropped by Tom Hannafan. BG James and him have now tied for four-time Gauntlet of the Gold entries? Whatever. But pretty cool little fact there. Number 2 is Alex Shelley. I want to make we're unbiased here, we're transparent, so I have to correct my mistake from last week. I make them often, so keep correcting me. But Alex Shelley did not have the match that missed Under Siege the night before. It was on Under Siege the night of. So was that scheduling? Was that just making do? Who knows? But he's with us. He's still there. Pretty cool. Herbie Herbs, the BG James reference made you happy. Same here. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah. All right. Next up, Eddie came out, followed by Vincent. Macklin in maroon, so nice little wink to Regal there, I guess. The Regal maroon. Shark Boy, inflatable raft and all. Trey with the dope pants. Raj, my dude Raj, love Raj. Gujar coming out next. Look, people always rag on me for being honest about Gujar. It's not that I dislike the guy. I actually like the fact that they're not, once again, if you know me, I'm big on breaking stereotypes within wrestling. It's not some woke shit. It's just the fact that how many times has Canadian Indian guy played some guy from, Mumbai or something? You know what I mean? Like, yes, it's okay to be proud, 100% okay to be proud of your heritage. But when someone's slapping that upon you for that to be the only thing you can be, I get annoyed with that. So I'm okay with, obviously they brought up the kickboxing thing. They're introducing him well as a prospect. He could be the next thing, whatever. I said this guy's tough enough level or right after that. But, I think the nicest way to put it is he's Maven. And for my old heads back there, and I guess he's making a reappearance. With Maven, he came out of Tough Enough. He had all the solid work. And of course he's going to have solid work. He was trained, I'm guessing by Johnny Bravo up there. He'll get there. Is it going to be soon? Should it be forced down our throats? No. Do I think he has a lot of potential? Yes. But you got to be honest when you say that this guy is going to be the next X Division champ. You guys, you done lost your minds. You done lost your minds. And don't rag on me for not saying that's true. But the thing with Maven, I think the only difference here is at least Maven, did he beat Josh in Tough Enough? He at least beat Josh Matthews, so he's got that going for him. I love Maven, by the way. Shout out to his theme music, too. Next up was Shera, who, day by day, man, obviously being a day oneer, I've seen it all with Shera, right? But he's come into his own. I love the pairing with him and Raj. I hope that only gets better. Him just yelling he's a lion back. Just some good shit, man. I love Shera. Morrissey next. I love how they put out Morrissey. Didn't make him, obviously he wasn't going to win, but they still treated him like the star that he is. EY, obviously our eventual winners out next. Swinger, yes, I saw someone as a Hitman 3. Yep, welcome back, Hitman. And yes, Swinger's entrance and elimination. The fact that, I don't know, was that a luggage bag that they made into the Andre the Giant? Bro. Oh, man, that had me weak. Anything this guy has me weak. I love him with his protege. Get my bag, Zicky Dice. And, even though Swinger's rocking the Sangriento pants, the uni, I still love him, man. Still love him. All right. Next up, Heath came in here, followed by Rhino, followed by Black Taurus. One thing here, Black Taurus getting eliminated pretty quickly. I think he was in and out before the break even happened, if I'm not mistaken. But I was nervous about Taurus being going back to AAA or going elsewhere because of how he was written off. But it seems to be a real injury. He's back with the next tapings. And also, obviously, they needed some hands. He came in. He got eliminated quickly. Didn't get hurt. And added one of the 20 that we needed to fill the spot. So thank you to Taurus there. Moose is out next, followed by Swan getting a nice place on the card. And then Cardona is thought to come out. Look, I am a sucker for this kind of spot. Pope had done it not too long ago, I guess it's been a few years now, where he came out, his music played, he jumped, he put it on his chance in the Gauntlet for the gold. Ray Wall did the same here. I would have loved if it was his music that played instead. And I have it written here, but I can't remember if I'm wrong now, so please correct me. I know you guys will. If he went back on commentary after. That's a missing gem right there. If you get knocked out, come back out and be on commentary, that would have been even better. But I thought this was great. PCO, who's got his own music, seems to be venturing off from Honor No More, which I think is the right route, and eventually be for Vincent as well. Then we get Sammy entering, surprise, not as a contestant, but just to cause Moose with a match there. Looking like we're heading towards Slammiversary, Moose and Sammy, which I'm not going to argue with. EY takes the eventual win. A lot of people looking good. Sabin, Macklin, and Moose and Morrissey being the final 5 with EY. So what did you guys think? A lot of you thought it was a 5-star showing. Yeah, I think you're right, Io. I want to point that out as well. Great point. This is this is to further the Swan and Cardona feud. Yes, Raywall, it caused Swan his opportunity, and therefore with Cardona, I think it's smart booking once again from this company, and I think the best is yet to come with some of these guys. So, plus, I want to touch on that really quick with Rich. He was in a tag team for quite a bit, right? Willie, they didn't know if he was resigning, or maybe they did know he wasn't, or they weren't going to retain, or whatever the deal was. But to see him unleashed, per se, not only on the mic, but as a unit, as a commodity, there is no one when focused. And I have a 3-year-old, and I'm still not caught up. So I'm sure that the giving him in the tag team, still having him on TV, but letting him focus on real life stuff too, helped the cause. But selfishly, I'm so glad that he's back to that music, to that Rich Swan, because there is no one when focused in that ring. Not saying he isn't, but I mean when they have him booked into the sweet spot that can touch this dude in that ring. I firmly believe that. I could watch him wrestle from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, and it would be entertaining the whole way. So shout out to Rich, but I'm so glad, bittersweet, but I'm glad that he's on this single focused path, right? All right, so what did you guys think? Let me know, obviously here, and then of course you guys can hit up the polls. The polls don't work the polls, but go fuck it, do whatever you want. But hit us up on the polls after the show on Impact SX TV at TNAIWChannel. Hit us up, and you can vote and tell us what you thought of the previous week of Impact. All right, guys, so now we're in hot topics, hot topics. Few things to talk about here. Some interesting pictures on there, right? A lot to talk about. But the first thing, yeah, that's what I'll hit up first. I don't know if I put it up there, Fade to Bland, so I apologize. But he wrote this basically saying that Jay White versus Josh would be the more interesting matchup compared to EY. I know where this is part of Hot Topics, guys. I get the interesting aspect in the sense of for name value to tell your friends who might not be Impact fans that Jay White versus Josh is the main event. That sells some tickets. I understand that. I do. One, Jay's got other plans that night, so he won't be there at all. But two, it's called Slammiversary. Would it have been, killer if AJ came back and faced him? Of course. But there's no one that represents, you can see in the picture right there, from Showtime, Team Canada, Eric Young, to Super Eric, to Don't Fire Eric, or whatever way you want to, the timeline here. The band, back to Crazy Eric, back to ODB Eric, then to World Class Maniac, then gone and come back to VBD. This guy can literally make chicken salad out of chicken shit. And sometimes this dude was given chicken shit. And there's never been a time, no matter if, even myself, who was, not excited about his first world title run, and that has nothing to do with Eric Young, the individual, or the wrestler, or his ability. It had all to do with the booking of that. Being a fan of his since literally day one of being in Impact, and seeing that growth, the story that could have been told, if told right for his first championship, that was what I was mad at. Had nothing to do with Eric Young. But if you look back at the history of what this guy can do or has taken and made work, there's no one like him. And I thought it was fitting that Sabin and him were the two last left in that ring at the end of the Gauntlet for the gold. I get the fact of wanting a little bit something more unpredictable, but did you really think that Josh was going to lose the belt to Jay White at Slammiversary? No build? No. Slammiversary is. And if you've seen that box thing with Josh, beautifully done, whoever did that, in the PR, not PR, Jesus, man. The production team, the video of him finding the box at TNA, look, no, Herbie Herbers, we could talk about the looked like Danielson thing. There's a lot more to that. The parallels of how Gabor booked that shit was atrocious. But I digress. So, the predictability aspect, I understand. But if you're not rooting for Josh to lose anyways, look, I don't go to a Batman movie wondering if he's going to die at the end. I firmly usually believe that I go to watch it for him to beat the bad guy, right? That's what happens. It's predictable. The end is generally the same. But does that make me shit on it or not want to see it? Fuck no. If the story is told right, it doesn't matter. If the outcome is what I think it'll be, this will not be a conversation. To his credit, in the comment, he did say that this is still going to be a good match, and so on and so on. I'm not going to say it's going to be a good match. I think if Josh versus Ishii was a 4.5 in the make-believe rankings that Meltzer puts out there, I think this will be our first 5-star match since the Triple Threat at Unbreakable. You guys are sleeping, and I'm not saying you guys specifically or just whoever. I'm just saying the people that are out there that are criticizing this for any other reason than it wasn't someone we could brag about in the sense of, hey, look at us. Look, that match, I won't overhype it. But I will say, one of my rules I keep telling everybody, especially when it comes to arguing with people online, is I'm trying to, Meltzer is going to give us 5 stars for this. I mean, he gave us 4.5 for Ishii on an Under Siege special. Under Siege special. Am I saying that right? Yeah, I'm saying that right. I don't know. I could go on a tangent, so I'll stop. There was something I was going to say about but I'll do that with the new rules segment. All right, let's keep moving on here because there's a lot to talk about. I just want to say that, man, look out for this match. It's going to be good. I understand the whatever to it, but when you get, I'll say just to make everyone happy, I'll say a 4.9 star matchup. This won't matter. All right, number 2 up is Tony Khan's comments about the zombie of WCW. Now, right here is where I was going to play a little something that we made. A little thank you to Tony for copying our After Dark Side of the Ring Claire Lynch show that aired 4 days before Dynamite. He is one of the 32 that watched that. If it's been confirmed. But Craig and I, shout out to Craig, by the way, Mr. Impact Craig, who's helping me out. We're gonna do a little bit of a bigger one. You guys look out for that about the true zombie of WCW. But the thing I want to approach was, if you guys aren't familiar, I want you to actually go and watch the clip. Because as much as I joke, Tony, you guys will know if you watch the show avidly, I've always been a defender. The Morrissey stuff happened. The Deanna stuff happened. Before that, I've been a defender. Doesn't mean I like the dude. Doesn't mean I know the dude. Doesn't mean I watch AEW. Consistently, I watch what I need to do the show. I just don't have the time. Pro wrestling. I always say that if you're new to the show, pro wrestling, I don't take any other way. But being a defender in the sense of I can see his side on a lot of the things that people from Impact side tend to complain about. Him saying that we are the zombie of WCW is not wrong. Go watch the video. The internet is wrong. And I get why. We want to jump to it. We want to jump to defend because we've been shit on for the past 10 years, if not longer, as Impact fans. But then the other side is the trolls want to jump on it because they take it one way, generally because they weren't around when WCW was there. Okay. WCW ended, TNA was born, and not only did it have literally the whole backstage team, for the most part, from Bob Ryder to Keith Mitchell in the truck, to Jeff Jarrett, to Vince Russo eventually, to Jeremy Borash. Okay. I'm missing a ton of people. But we had the commentators. We had Tenay. Okay. I already said Jeff Jarrett. We eventually got Sting, right? We had in the main, the first Gauntlet for the gold. We had Scott Hall. I think Disco might have been there. Oh, there we go. Little breakup. Testing 1, 2. There we go. All right. So he's not wrong in that sense. As we are them now, he said we were when we started. Okay. So if you take it for what it is, that is what it is. At the same time, we have to remember This is a man who has his show on TNT and TBS with Sting and Jericho and Shivani and Jim Ross and Arn Anderson and soon to be Ric Flair and Paul White and Regal. And Sting and Chavo and Bret Hart appeared and DDP appeared, Dustin Rhodes, Shaq, Eric Bischoff, Tully Blanchard, shitty stable. So don't take offense to it, guys. Let's just move on, right? Hit me up in the chat, make sure I know it's working. Having a little technical difficulties. But either way, this will be live on YouTube right after, so it'll be a-okay. So yeah, don't take offense to it. Just move on. I say don't take shots, take screenshots, right? Because eventually people are gonna have to own up to their thinking of Impact Wrestling, and they'll be wrong eventually. All right, so the last thing I want to show you guys here, especially because I don't know if what is going on here. I know there's a storm a-brewing, so that could be it. But I do want to show you guys, and once again, I apologize if the internet kicked here. This will be live at 10 p.m. on YouTube. Thank you to those who have rocked with us. Obviously, it's a little bit of a up and down show, but we love you guys. Thank you guys, and thanking for making our last episode top 5 yet again. Really dig it. Really appreciate it. There's other people on this channel killing it, like tomorrow, GoGoPowerRankings, Monday, Bert and Datila. You get what you just saw in the Power Rankings. You get a bookended with a lot of stats and a lot of cool things and little trends and little information there. On Tuesdays, you're going to, well, not this Tuesday, but the following, you're going to get the season finale of LOL TNAIW. Once again, not relevant, not time sensitive. Go check it out. You can watch it now or 10 years from now, and it still is stupid. So check that out. But Steiner Math will debut Tuesday, 4:20 p.m. Not this Tuesday, but the next. So that will be our season finale. And then, of course, Talking Bloody Nonsense, Mr. Impact Craig, and Cambridge's favorite son, Nixon, every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. BST, right here on the TNAIW channel. All right. So now here comes the sneak peek of what Max and I have been working on. It is not finished yet completely. But welcome to the Impact Zone. All right, so this is what it will look like. Here's what it's going to look like. It's going to be changed. Obviously, myself here, Max there, a little more adding there. But you see the depth charts there for every championship. You guys will be able to put your word into. We'll have some voting there, as well as current champions down there. We'll have top 25 free agents here, as well as their ranking and stars and how we got to rate them. This is just a default one. Don't worry. But it'll have the stars ranking and what we rank them and base them upon, as we've talked about over and over again when it comes to free agency, what Max and I look for when it comes to the free agents out there and what they can add to Impact Wrestling. So check that out. Keep up with us. Tell us what you think of just the aesthetics alone. I think it's going to be a fun time. It'll be the end 15 to 20 minutes of the show, so I'll tighten it up at the beginning, and save a lot of the free agent talk and depth chart talk, obviously, for the end here. But it'll be very exciting. Max will be rocking back on the channel, which is awesome. Good to see him coming back. But a lot to be excited. A lot to be excited about. There we go. I'm tired. I'm in the treehouse. It's like 100 degrees in New York right now. I don't know why. But thank you for rocking with us. I know I said it, but I can't say it enough. Thank you to the people in the chat. It seems like it cut off a little bit here, but thank you to those who show up live each week to be on that. Thank you for those who go back and watch it again. Thank you for all the shares and retweets and likes and all that stuff, guys. We couldn't do this, and I wouldn't do this without you. As I always tell people, new or old to the show, this is what I do for my mental health. This keeps me working with some really cool people from IO, who you could check out at TNAIWchannel, as well as his own personal Twitter account. Bert and Datila Mondays, Craig and Nixon every Thursday, Max coming back, Johnny and Lucha every Tuesday. We got a cool fam here, man. We're always welcome to adding. Like I said, if you want to be part of the Power Ranking Committee, hit us up there. IO coming back in clutch. Subscribe, like, all that jazz. If you want to make a difference on the rankings of the episodes, once again, hit us up on Twitter. All that stuff. I'm going to get some rest after I eat a popsicle and sit on my stoop. But But thank you guys. Always check in with Impact. 7 p.m. BTI, 8 p.m. Impact on Access TV, or 8:30 Impact Insiders. And oh, right there, the part I wanted to make about Tony Khan as well, and it just reminded me, I was trying to fix stuff as I was blabbing on. For someone who, we give a lot of shit to, or we think is, some of you think is the devil, for lack of better terms. If you saw the clip right there, Kazarian will be with us for this last string, or already was with this, so it looks like he might be in a Slammiversary. Kazarian is a contracted wrestler for AEW. No, Millard, the show didn't end early. There was some kind of thunderstorm coming through, so it disconnected me. But you can recheck this out and what you missed at 10 p.m. right here on YouTube. All right. So for all we can say, he is allowing, yes, Morrissey had to lose on his show. Yes, Deanna had to lose on his show. But we're getting Kazarian. Who else will we get? There's rumors that Angle and Joe might be coming for a TNA versus Impact show. So let's play nice. Let's stay in our lanes. Let's be pro wrestling. Shout out and love to everyone that communicates with us and keeps this Impact brand going. We'll see you next week. But we'll also see you in Philly. Anyone who's going to the Philly tapings in Swanson, Brittner, September 25th, I believe. It's the last stop before Bound for Glory. Hit us up. We'll all sit in the same section. Let's go, guys. All right. Thank you for coming out. God bless and good night. See you next time. Bye, guys.